Okay, so we are finally recording after a few technical issues. So welcome to the Ultra Running Sam podcast, Dougie Zinis.
Hello, you all right?
Okay, that is how you pronounce your name, isn't it?
It is, yeah, spot on.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if there was any other way. I didn't want to offend you.
No, I'm not easily offended.
Good. Yeah, you're a spiner. You're not easily offended. It comes with the territory. Okay, so most people that are listening or watching this podcast will know who you are. But for the listeners that aren't quite familiar with you, could you sort of give like a bit of a background to yourself and how you got into running, and then where you are with the spine and stuff?
Yeah, started running at 28 when I met my wife. She went jogging in the morning, so I just started jogging down canal. I kept getting further and further, and the confidence grew. And I just went from there, really. I joined Calder Valley Fell Runners in 2016, and through running with friends there, who are friends now, but back then I was looking up at these crazy guys who were running crazy distances and crazy races over the fells. You just keep trying stuff out, don't you? Keep trying that a little bit harder and getting a bit more consistent with your training, learning new techniques, and it just went off from there. Trying my first ultra at 2018, I think I did Calderdale Way as a pair, and realised I could run at a distance. So I'm no good at fell races. I'm not fast enough at fell races. I realised that. My eyeballs are sticking out of my head, and but I realised I can go at a pace. I'm just quite strong at just plodding along all day, and I can do that forever. So that's how I got into ultra scene, really. When I was 24, I was very overweight and I had a mini stroke, and that kind of took it from there. Another reason why I started running. I had a few years where I didn't do much, but after 4 years, I figured I tried sitting down and doing nothing, but it didn't work, did it? So, try something else.
Yeah. I'd heard that story about you with the stroke and everything. So you do a bit of charity work and stuff in aid of that.
I did this year. I thought, well, I did a big challenge this year. I did Wainwright. So I thought, if I'm doing something big, why not raise some money? And last year, I've got a friend she's in occupational therapy for stroke survivors, and there's Jo as well, who's usually at Alston. She's a occupational therapist for stroke as well. So I thought I'll raise some money for their teams, and yeah, we managed to we raised £4,000, and it's gone straight to their care units, and yes, it was good experience. Put something back,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's valuable stuff, isn't it? Doing that kind of, the charities really appreciate that. So, just talking about the Wainwrights then. So I've got you're fairly recently coming into ultra running then, aren't you? 2018 being you kind of sort of first foray into ultra running, but your CV is great for any ultra runner. So you had first place at the Spine Challenger in 2020. You were second last year for the full spine. You've got the double Bob Graham records, and you, like you say, you did the Wainwrights as well. So you've, in a short period of time, you've ticked off like a lot of like bucket list things that a lot of ultra runners will take years to do.
May as well get them out of the way, ain't you? I don't know. It's kind of snowballed.
So it's kind of been.
It's a progression. What I've started off with. I think it was a high peak marathon, the first ultra actually. There were me and 3 friends, and absolutely loved it. It was a really good experience. Don't know if you've ever done it. I don't think they can do it anymore now. But I really enjoyed that. It was good banter all night, and just winding each other up in horrible conditions, and it kind of gave me a taste for, I suppose, the spine in a way. I knew I enjoyed rubbish conditions and, you know, blanket fog, sideways rain. I can cope quite well in it. I didn't nav that now, so I can't say my nav was spot on, but our nav was quite spot on, but John did really well. But yeah, that kind of gave me a taste to go forward. So it went from there, went to do with Bob Graham, and I just felt like I could go again. One of my friends in lockdown showed me a video with Nikki Spinks with the Bob Graham, double Bob Graham, what she did, and I thought I can do that. So off I went, and yeah, 2 attempts, but yeah, I managed to do it. Second attempt.
Yeah, that's some feat of running. So out of all those achievements that you've sort of had in recent years, then what's the one that stands out to you the most? What do you look back on fondly out of that list?
Fondly,
or what means the most to you? What means the most?
Well, what means the most is what I've learned the most from, which, if that's the case, I've got to go for my first paddy buckler. I got horrendous cramps for 18 hours, and I dragged my ass around in 26 hours up over the tops with cramps in my legs, and I could barely move. And I learned more from that paddy buckler than any of the others, because I learned how to pace myself, fuel, different training methods, all sorts. You know, I really thought about it after that. And, you know, I went back a couple of years later and took 6 hours off it. So it shows what different mentality can do. And I know I can do 18 hours with cramps, and it's horrible terrain down there. And if you can do that in 26 hours with cramps, I reckon I can do a lot of places in normal conditions.
Yeah, that's some going there. You're running sort of as do you feel like it's gone in, you know, a bit of a trajectory going up and up and up? Do you feel like, I know I saw one of your Instagram posts where you were saying, you know, hoping that you'll be on the podium again this year for the spine. Do you feel like it's your turn to win?
No, not with the competition there. I'll be lucky to get in the podium, I think, but I'm not as fast as Damien and Kim, nowhere near. But I'm persistent, and I'm just got to make myself annoying, and try and be there-ish. But yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? It'd be nice to have three spines, 3 podiums. It would make it nice. It would, if I could.
Right.
But yeah, it'd be nice to catch up with a lot of friends as well on the spine. You know, see James and Eon again. We had some good laughs and checkpoints together. I hadn't seen them for a year, so it'd be nice to wind each other up again, won't it?
Because you were with James quite a bit, weren't you? Because I was at Middleton checkpoint, and you came in there together, didn't you?
Yeah.
In Middleton.
Yeah.
So
if just before where they caught me up, I'd had a low point, and I got lost, and they found me stood walking in circles, you know. So kind of pulled me out of it. Yeah. But
that's a good job they were there. So do you feel like you know, are they fast friends? And I know, like, people I've met on races before that I've shared a bit of time with, you know, they become you running buddies. Have you kept in touch with any of the guys that you've met through the spine? Yeah,
okay. Well, a few. You keep in touch. Opposite sides of the country. We fired a message off to each other now and again. There's been a bit more bantering last month, coming back and forth. So yeah, it'll be nice to catch up again. See where everybody is at the moment. Definitely.
Yeah, because the spine attracts people from, you know, not just all over the country, but all over the world, because it's such an iconic race. How do you feel that your training has gone for this year? Is there anything that you've done differently from previous, you know, attempts?
Last year I broke my toe 7 weeks before the race, and I got COVID 4 weeks before. So I've just made sure I ain't got injured this time.
or got
It's a big
COVID.
thing. I just kept it consistent. I've had a big year as it is, so I've tried not to load my training too high because I think I'll probably tire quick with the training. I don't know if I'd recover as quick, so I've not gone as intense, but I feel good at the moment. I feel strong, so I feel better than I did last year. But we'll see how it goes.
That's a good start then into the, you're in the sort of best position you can be in. If you're feeling like you're ready and you're strong, then that's better than being 5% overtrained and not being in the right place for it. Definitely. Is there any for people that are going to be attempting the spine perhaps for the first time, is there any sort of things a bit of wisdom that you would share with them with your experience of the route and everything?
I'd make yourself a lot of small goals on the way. So say you're going in between checkpoints, you get into the next water stop, or you potential water source, maybe you get to the top of some climbs, but keep these waypoints in your mind small, and then because at some point you will have a down point. And to get out of a down point, if you've got a small goal to aim for, which will come up quite quickly, you can get yourself out of this down quite quickly. A lot of it, especially night time, if the rain comes in, if you can get to these goals and have loads of little highs, you might not even go into a down, and before you know it, you're in the checkpoint. You've got to push yourself psychologically. Definitely, yeah.
One bite at a time, I suppose. Yeah, that's the famous saying.
I wouldn't look at coming out of a checkpoint as a 20-mile stretch. I'd look at it in smaller segments, just in case, because you do get your downs, don't you? So if you get you down, you can get back up very quick. So it's a good point. Practice with your kit. Figure out what kit you'll need first, where you'll need it, how fast you might need to get to it, how to pack it away again after without getting it wet. How to tie your shoelaces when you're tired. That's a big one, and there's mud all over them. That's complicated. And train for it. Don't forget your fitness though. Don't just do long runs. You can neglect your fitness, so make sure you're fit. If you're doing a training block with long runs, make sure you do a training block with just pure fitness as well, just to keep your fitness level up as well. You've got to need everything, not just your endurance. You've got to need everything.
Everything in the kitchen sink. Are you self-coached, or do you use a coach for training?
Self-coached, self-coached. I've got a busy life, so it's hard really to commit to a schedule. So it can be a bit sporadic, my training, but I keep stuff in a 3-week block, and I've got to work around work. I've got to work around family and commitments. So I can run at some crazy times. I can go to the gym at some crazy times, but I get it in.
Yeah, I always say that because I'm not coached, but I coach a few guys, and they always get on at me for not having a coach. And like you, I always explain it that I'm a family man with a full-time job and so many things that I've got to do. I think a coach would get frustrated at me not doing workouts when I'm supposed to do them. I find that I can just fit things in when I have to fit them in, and just on the spur of the moment, just do something like this morning, get up at 4:30 and be the first person in the gym, because I knew that I had to be driving, to Chesterfield to go and do a job. So for me, it doesn't make sense to have a coach. I like the idea of having a coach, and I know it's good for pulling you up on stuff and keeping you focused. But if you can't fit the training in, there's no point in having a coach, is there?
No. Well, it's like you say, sometimes you just got to get up. Sometimes I might not get out running till 9:30 at night, and this time of year I prefer that, because you got to get used to the dark. But while you can fit your training and fit it in, it's the best method for me, definitely. Yeah.
I quite like running this time of year. I think, I don't know if probably not weird. I suppose all ultra runners got it to a certain degree, and I love getting all of my kit on,
Yeah.
getting like fully togged up and just like head torching, going out in the rain, and knowing that no one knows that you're there, no one cares that you're there, but you're doing what you want to do, and you're getting your running fix in and stuff everybody else and their routine.
Nice and dry and warm.
Yeah. Although that is nice to come back to. What about for you then? What are is there any key workouts that you've done in the lead up to this race where, you know, any benchmarks that you've hit that you think, right, I feel ready now. This was a you know, like a long day out with full kit, something like that. Is there anything that along the way, or have you just sort of been moving through your training as you've yourself?
Well, like I say, I've moved through my blocks. So I've had a block of hill training. So like I'm training for Bob Graham or training for the Wainwrights, I'll try to get 10, 15,000 foot a week on a hill training block. And then I'll do a fitness block. Then I'll start doing the long run blocks with kit. I've done some 40 milers, 30 milers. I've been on Pennine Way a few times, done 30, 40s. I've done some overnight sessions. I think anybody who's training, I think you need to think where you've got to be at night and do an overnight session on that section if you can, because it's completely different. You know, a lot of it is just your torchlight. And a friend came with me who's not done a spine, but he says a lot. I can't believe how much of it's just like that. And if you've got to realise you've got 4 days of that, and that's psychologically hard. Because it's hard for navigation, isn't it? You're just following your little light. But yeah, I think them sessions are good. Getting you overnight with your full kit on. So if you do need to get anything out, you've got to work out how can you flip your bag round while you're moving. Do you have to take your bag off? Where's best for your food so it's not squashed? Your GPS system. How you got to use your watch? How you got to use your handheld GPS, which has got maps on it, so you may as well anyhow. But can you access it quick? I learned from Eon last year. I had mine tucked in, so I was forever unzipping, getting it out, stopping, having a look, and Eon comes running up. And we're running with him, and he had his on a cord, so he could just swing it and look at it, and then it was swinging away again. And I thought, what a cracking idea that is. So I've emulated it this year, and I've got a cord made. You know, just little things.
Yeah, the little things. I thought that was going to be one of my questions, actually. You know, from last year, is there anything that you've learned that you think is going to be absolutely valuable, other than the map on your cord and everything? You know, like with your kit, because I know that spiners are obsessed with kit, aren't they? It's the
banging stuff you don't need. Yeah.
The Facebook group is just like carnage at times, isn't it? With, you know, like trying to filter through it all the stuff to do with kit. So is anything that you learned from last year's spine that you were like, I've got to do that this year instead?
I snapped my pole 5 minutes after getting it out last year. So I went around the whole course with one pole, looking like a little old man. So I've got a spare pole this year, definitely. Yeah, I've got. I won't say I've changed a lot. Really, I've got a lot of kit from last year. I've got new jacket because my old one just falling apart. Yeah, but yeah, I've got some good jacket. Make sure you're warm. I've got a new mid-layer system, which I've been testing out, which is good. But yeah, get your power cord. Get 2 sticks, definitely 2 poles. Have a spare one. With regards to nutrition, on my Wainwrights, I used recovery shakes, Mountain Fuel recovery shakes, as I was moving, and I found that really good. So I've got some of them for this year, which I didn't use last year. Yeah, a bit more treats as well in between this year. I think I'll have.
Yeah. So did you focus mainly on like proper food when you got to the checkpoints, and was that sort of your type?
Yeah, proper food and then nibble in between. Plenty of nibbles. I'm good at eating. I've always been good at eating. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Alston, where you have lots of lasagna. That's nice.
The famous lasagna.
Really nice.
Yeah, definitely. It is, yeah. So with coming second last year, have you got a plan in mind? Or because I know the Spine is a race where anything can happen, can't it? Last year was like proof of that, wasn't it? Where Damien and Kim shot off and were racing each other, and then both of them end up pulling out of the race. Have you got an A goal, B goal, C goal as far as the plan?
Not particular. No, just finish it strong. Be happy with my navigation. I made a few errors last year. I think I wasted about an hour and a half, all in all, in time, which had only took me 3 hours off, an hour and a half off Eon. So, it's always in my mind. I'll take it a bit more seriously this time as well. I think with Kim and Damien shooting off last time, I kind of wrote it off that I'd be anywhere near a podium finish. So I think that were in my mind. I'm not sure if I'd have done any better if I'd have thought different, but it'd be nice to think, well, yeah, I might have tried that bit harder. I might have gone straight past Greg's up rather than gone in to sample noodles, which were nice, by the way. But yeah, there's loads of bits where I could change this and tweak that, but like you say, anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Yeah, that's it. I suppose you've almost got to go into the race thinking with that thought, anything can happen. So you may, on the first few days, you may be thinking, I've got no chance here, like you were, and then you end up being on the podium. So I suppose that's like a psychological thing, isn't it? You've got to keep telling yourself that it doesn't matter what's going on ahead of you, it could all fall.
And that's what Ian did. He kept to his race plan and he went for it. I learned last year there's 2 races. I won the Challenger, like I said, and that finishes in Horse. So when I got to Horse, my body and my mind were saying, I finished, but I had to drag myself out again. And that were a big low point for me, really big. I really struggled. I took a wrong turn, even though I've done that bit before Cam Road. I don't know how I did it. I've done that section loads of times, and I wasted probably 35-40 minutes. I went the wrong way up this road. Refused to get my map out because I've done the section so many times. But when I did, so yeah, come back. But yeah, I was down then. But yeah, I learned there's 2 races. So it's a whole nother race after Horse. It's another race again, completely different mentality. So yeah, hopefully I'm a bit more ready for that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Now that because you had that mental block of finishing the Challenger, and that felt like the end of your journey, and then you've got to start again. So this time, with your experience from last year of doing, the full distance, do you think that won't even sort of come into your mind? It will just be just ticking it off as you go.
It's difficult to say because it's what to do at Horse. With my pace, it'll probably be early morning, so the sun will be coming up when I get to Horse. I don't like wasting daylight, especially when you've only got so little of it. So, I'd be tempted not to sleep, but then, which will slow me down in the next section. So, it depends what time I get to Horse, whether I have a sleep or not. But yeah, if I can go through to Middleton, which I tried last time, which I don't know if it helped, it went towards me down psychologically. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But yeah, hopefully this time I can keep my head up high. Might take some more treats for that bit, some more food. We'll see.
So what is your? Do you have a sleep strategy in place, or do you just kind of just go into? Because I know a lot of when I was at Middleton, a few of the guys there were saying that is like, seems to be a place where people strategically sleep a decent amount there. So is that something that you're conscious of yourself going into the race, or do you just see how you feel as you're going through?
We'll see how I feel, because I do quite well with very little sleep. I did 3 hours last year, all in all. On my Wainwrights over 6 days, I did 7 hours. So I can get away with 20 minutes, half an hour here and there, and push on for a good leg. I'm probably thinking about 40 minutes-ish at each checkpoint. But if I go in and I feel all right, I might push on to the next half a checkpoint and have 10 minutes there instead. But yeah, it's just what to do at horse. That's me dilemma. That's me on the dilemma. But as you say, things can change. If the weather gets bad, it gets thick with snow, I might need an extra sleep just to recharge my bodies, because I'll be working even harder coming in and out of the snow. It just depends on ground conditions, forecasts. The winds might be up. Who knows? See how long it is in between checkpoints. But yeah, I've got an initial plan in mind, and I'll tweak it as I go along.
As far as talking about snow and everything, I know there was like a lot that was forecast, wasn't there? For it was all doom and gloom before Christmas. They were saying they were going to have this mental storm coming in and loads of snow. Do you buy into that, or do you kind of just play it by ear and just be prepared for anything as far as the weather goes? Because the Spine is, Britain's most brutal race. It's exactly what it says on the tin, isn't it? But
you can't look forward. I've never known a forecast that can be accurate for 2 weeks ever. So I never listen to it. It is what it is. Whether it's snowy, whether it's muddy, windy, rainy, I've still got to do it. I'm quite lucky in the sense of I like that kind of weather. I can zip myself up and become an igloo and just push myself through it and do the best I can. And I can move quite well through any kind of conditions. I move better in winter than I do in summer. I can't do with heat. It really burns me out. So in the middle of summer, I try not to do much if I can. But yeah, I did Leyland 100 when it was hot, and that were a nightmare. Really, that wasn't fun at all. Yeah,
definitely a winter runner then.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So as far as other than yourself, have you got any sort of predictions for the podium, or do have you thought about how the race could go? Because bearing in mind, I've already spoke to Damo early in the year. I spoke to Kim and I spoke to Jack Scott as well, and obviously they all are thinking about the podium. What's your ideas of how things are going to go?
Well, you got to think Damien and Kim. Depends if they run off with each other again. I mean, Jack's got to be up there as well, so I don't know. Like, I can't see him making that mistake again. But you never know, do you? So, but we've got to encourage it, haven't we? But yeah, they will be up there. It will be either Kim or Damien. I think, I don't know, one of them two. I think definitely. But Eon will be up there, definitely. He'll be a finisher. Yeah. He'll go along at his pace and his style. James Chapman, he helped me out on my Wainwrights, and he's strong. Saw him at Leyland 100. He got 3rd place. He did well. James Leaver, he'll be there again. He's a strong runner, definitely. So yeah, there'll be a few names I don't know about as well. So you always get a few. But I think up there, I think you're talking Damien or Kim myself.
Yeah, as long as they don't drive each other into the ground.
Well, I'll encourage it.
Awesome. But thinking about after the Spine, then, have you sort of planned out your year as far as races go, or is this just your main focus at the minute, or have you got things in the pot and boiling away?
I've got some ideas. I fancy doing Fellsman because I've never done it. I need to do a Ramsey because I've done all the other rounds. So just a Ramsey to do now. Dragon's Back. Looks like I'll be doing that. And a few bits in between. I've got a Howard Hobble already booked. So I'll be starting from the Hobble, building for a year then. So I'll get a couple of months where I can chill out and then get to the Howard Hobble, get to the Fellsman, get up Scotland, and then down to Wales. So,
yeah. So you're doing a full tour of Britain.
Why not?
Awesome. Is there anything, any races like bucket list races that you've got your eyes on, sort of internationally or anywhere in the world that you've not got to yet, but you definitely want to try and get to?
I think Tour de Gions, definitely. A few things in States. Be nice to have a crack at Barclays, but just getting into it. It's horrible. I think I'd like that. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many races. There's a multi-stage race in, I can't remember what it's called. It's in New Zealand. Looks really good. Someone sent me an email about that the other day, actually. People keep trying to tempt me. Yeah, but yeah, it looks really good. Nice scenery, good people. So yeah, it's what it's all about, isn't it? Meeting people and seeing the sights. Apart from Spain, you can't see anything. But you meet some nice people.
Yeah, that's the great thing about the running community, especially the ultra running community. It's like it's a niche of a niche, isn't it, already? So the people that are into it, it's like I always say that it's, I started snowboarding quite early on. So when I was like a teenager, I was like 15, so I'm like 43 now. So there were so few snowboarders out on the mountains that when we went away, any other snowboarder would always stop and talk to you when you'd like say hello, or if you're on the other side of the slope, they'd wave at you and give you a thumbs up, because there was that kind of community that people, us against the skiers sort of thing. And I feel like ultra running is kind of like that niche. It's a niche of a niche. So people that are into it are really into it, and they appreciate that kind of sense of community. Do you feel that sense of community?
It's some of the runs, some stuff what I've supported people on, and the people I've met on my journey. It's been amazing. I can't thank enough people who's helped me, and it's been vice versa when I've helped other people as well. And what other sport would people from all over the country just turn up at 2 o'clock in the morning on a lane in the middle of nowhere to run with somebody they've never met before? It's amazing. Yeah, definitely.
That is true. Yeah, and volunteers as well. All the volunteers that make up all the checkpoints on races. Yeah. I think I'll be on the I'm on the media team for the Spine, so I'll be pointing a camera or a video camera in your face at some point.
Yeah, be good. Be nice to see you.
So I'll be chasing people around.
Like catch me asleep in a bush somewhere or something.
We'll make a good photo. That's for sure. What kind of interest do you have other than running? I know obviously this podcast is all about ultra running and stuff, but for you as a person, is there anything that you turn to other than running to sort of keep you sane?
I do a lot of DIY around the house. I kept busy with kids quite a lot. Do a bit of do walking, obviously. I don't have much time other than work, run, kids. It's very time consuming, I suppose, is my hobby. But I think one day, I don't know what I'd like to do. I'd like to jump in a camper and drive about a bit when kids are older. Explore Europe. I think that'd be nice. Definitely.
What do your kids think of your ultra running? Do they think you're a crazy lunatic, or are they fully supportive of it?
My 12-year-old thinks I'm crackers. My My daughter, she's all right with it. My youngest, he likes it. He's started doing cross country and park runs. He keeps saying he's got to beat all my times. So I hope he does. Yeah, definitely. I'll be there to support him. It'll be great, fantastic to get out and see him get around the Bob Graham or get on Spine and see him come through Hebden. It'd be lovely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Good goals for the future, definitely. Yeah. You're obviously teamed up with Scarpa then. How did that involvement start then?
Through Tom Hollins. I've helped Tom on many of his crazy adventures, and he gave me Dave's name and Dave Doughter, and at Mountain Boot, so I got in touch and it took off from there. We had a meet-up not so long back up in Kendal. Met Marco, he came over from Italy, and it's exciting. Yeah, it's talked through all the different products and new boots, what are coming out, and new shoes, and yeah, it's hopefully it'll be good to be part of as it takes forward. So yeah, there's some good runners, some nice people, and we've all got to bounce off each other and see where it takes us, hopefully. Yeah.
So what kit are you using this year then, as far as with your Scarpas? Is there a? So I know was there some new models came out this year? Have you been testing them?
There's Cleaver G. I'll be using them if really snowy. It's like a boot. It's got a boa system. It's a special boa system. It's different to other ones where it compresses from front and back. I'll be using Spin Infinities. Without that, I really like the Infinities. They've got good cushioning in them. Yeah, I can keep moving well enough. So yeah, it'd be either them or Calibre G's for the spine. I think in drier weathers, I'll stick to the Golden Gate Keemers. But yeah, definitely for the spine. I've got Montaigne's sent me some kit out as well, so I've got a spine jacket, of course.
Has to be.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, hopefully I can do them proud. Really, get to end and yeah, sure. They're good shoes. They're really good. I used them on my Wainwrights. I used the Rebel runs and I used the Infinities, and yeah, they did me proud. Until my feet swelled up, but then that was nothing to do with shoes. Just pure distance, really.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I stopped too long and my feet swelled up. That was my problem.
Yeah, it happens, definitely.
Yeah.
So as far as like final preparation before the race, is anything that you're doing in between now? Are you're not panicked about anything, or have you got you're quite relaxed and ready for it? Just
play around with kit. I've had a new pack. New Montaigne pack sent out, so I've just been messing about with it really. I've been wearing it to work for 9 hours a day on my back. I'm a barber, so I look a bit weird at work, but I've got to get used to the weight and get used to. I've been going to the gym, going on the rowing machine quite a bit, try to get my shoulders ready for 4 days of a pack bouncing about on my back. Just little things like that, just taking it steady with runs. I'll do nothing over 10 mile now this week, and then nothing over 10k next week. Just take it down, work my way down to it and see where it takes me. Yeah. Try not to get injured.
Yeah, don't get injured or get COVID again.
No. Well, kids have been full of it over Christmas with flu, so.
I think everyone's had it, haven't they? I think it's just it's one of those years where everything's been waiting to pounce on everyone with the poor immune systems after being shut up for so long. I think it's just been inevitable, hasn't it? That everyone's got ill.
Hopefully it's behind us now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, brilliant. Well, I hope that everything goes to plan for you in a couple of weeks' time, and I'm looking forward to catching up with you and seeing you out on the route and seeing you do well. So appreciate you coming on and having a chat with us and giving us a bit of your story, and hopefully things go to plan for you. Yeah, nice to see you. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Yes. Thanks for coming on. Cheers, mate. No worries. Take care. Thanks.